Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending today's service. We are continuing with our weekly memorial services because we were unable to have in-person services. So we'll begin with the chanting of Sambutsuge, followed by a short message, and then closing on the letter of white ashes. Okay. Namondobs, 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 namondobs. 고갱기기 이진무곡녀세엠묘 무요토샤 니치가츠마니 슈코엔뇨 가이시츠옴베 윤약 주목如来 요겜 조세문이 쇼각 다이옴 고르 지보 가이몬 쇼진 삼마이 지혜 이독 무료 슈쇼 개의 진다이 젠냄 쇼부츠 호가이 구진 진노 그고 가이다이 무묘 요구는 세선 요문 인노 시시 진도 무료 극은 고라이 지혜 진묘 고묘 이소 신노 다이생 강아 사분스 자이쇼 호오 가도 쇼지 미프게나츠 후세 조이 가이닌 쇼진 요세 삼마이 지혜 이조 고세 토크분스 은요 시간 이사이 크그 이사다양 계시 으분스百千億万無量大小修行五弱用一切死と小物不尿愚道謙称不脚非尿五弱小物世界不不可見無種節の光明師匠遠視小国尿税精進偉人南洋両が差物国土第一号者奇妙道場超絶国尿内音ニムトソガトアイミン道達一切ジポ来所新熱症状意図雅国経絡安能法物神妙是が心象発願能意力小小欲実法生存知恵無下上量子孫知が信用軽量心思食毒中学業承認忍術権南蛮ダム Dhammam Namman Dhammam Namman Dhammam Namman Dhammam Ganni Shikun Dokun Byodo Sei Sai Doten Boda Ishin Ojo Anako. Naman Dabs 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 Naman Dabs. So today, actually, there was no names to be read, so I'll just go into the Dharma talk. I wanted to talk a little bit today about, well, no, I guess not about mindfulness, but to bring up the topic of mindfulness, because I feel like a lot of the times that we talk about it in the Dharma talks, I think with each other, and then also just in popular culture, people really like to use this idea of mindfulness along with Buddhism. I don't want to take away the importance of it, because it is very important. It is one of the part of the Eightfold Noble Path. And so because of that, it is recognized by all forms of Buddhism as being universally important as one of the steps to eventually attain enlightenment as the Buddha taught. So I don't think that I should take away from the importance of mindfulness. Absolutely is important. And absolutely it can be helpful in our lives. And I think it's wonderful that there is a kind of a link or a gateway into Buddhism that a lot of people can relate to, that makes a lot of sense, that is easy to understand and easy to apply. So mindfulness being something that is all of those things, it makes it a great way of an introduction to Buddhism. And people can relate it in different ways. Whether it's with psychology, whether it's with behavior, whether it's dealing with stress. And so it's wonderful that it can help people in so many ways. At the same time, though, I hope that everyone understands that Buddhism is not just mindfulness, that it doesn't stop there, that it is a wonderful step, that is a great thing that we can all help in our lives, but it doesn't stop there. It actually goes further than just mindfulness. If you're going throughout the Eightfold Noble Path, then after mindfulness is meditation, and then after that is enlightenment. So there's that. That's one way of understanding it. But from my understanding, it's a little bit more than just meditating, but actually going out and doing something. So I think a lot of people get hung up too on this idea of meditation, which also has many great benefits, is a wonderful thing that is also easy to understand. It's a practice, so it's easy for people to do, but more so than meditation, it's up to us to do some kind of action. So when people think about like Zen Buddhism and they think about all the meditation, I'm not trying to look down on Zen or anything. I think we can learn a lot, and it's a wonderful sister school to our Jodo Shinshu. But one focus that a lot of people, when they think about Zen, is the meditation. So there's that too as well. But more than just the sitting and staring at a wall or thinking about a puzzle, if we get up and we do things with our fellow human beings, that to me is really the height or the purpose of Buddhism that will open up this idea of true understanding. So I have a couple excerpts here from the sutras. So one of them is the Buddha comes into contact with a yaksha spirit, which is kind of like a nature spirit, I guess, in Indian cosmology. So it's they're usually benevolent. They're like usually nice, maybe mischievous, and sometimes, but not like mean spirits. So these are just kind of nice spirits, and the spirit talks to the Buddha. So the spirit's name is Manibhadra, and Manibhadra says in verse, "It's always auspicious for the one who is mindful. The mindful one prospers happily always. The mindful one grows better each day and is totally freed from animosity." And so the Buddha replies, "It's always auspicious for one who is mindful. The mindful one prospers happily always. The mindful one grows better each day, but isn't totally freed from animosity. Whoever's heart all day, all night, delights in harmlessness with goodwill for all beings has no animosity with anyone at all." So there's this difference where there's people who are mindful and they are always happy, they get better every day, but they're not truly free from animosity. It actually takes this extra step of delighting in the harmlessness with goodwill for all beings. So that kind of person is one that has no animosity. And animosity, of course, is one of the things that will cause suffering. So from a different sutra, the Buddha is speaking in verse, and he says, "You make things worse when you flare up at someone who's angry. Whoever doesn't flare up at someone who's angry wins a battle hard to win. You live for the good of both, your own, the others. When, knowing the others provoked, you mindfully grow calm. When you work the cure of both, your own and the others, those who think you a fool know nothing of Dharma." So again, there's this idea of the mindfulness and being mindful when you're in conflict with somebody else, especially if they're angry at you and you're mindfully calm, then that helps to win the battle in this, in the words of the Buddha, but to kind of ease that situation. And then there's, again, that extra step of working for the cure of both. So the cure within the Buddha's terms is, of course, a cure for suffering. It isn't like a specific disease or anything. But I think relating to that in present days, being in this time, it's important for us to really recognize what the Buddha was teaching, in this sense of it isn't just mindfulness that we need, but we need true compassion for other beings, which, you could say being mindful of others, but doing even more so and actively wanting the goodwill, or I guess sending goodwill, but actively wanting the harmlessness, actively working for the less suffering of other beings. It's what the Buddha taught, and it's what will help us to ease our own suffering. It will get rid of the passions within ourselves that are causing us the discomfort, the suffering. So I hope from my message, what you can take away is that absolutely, mindfulness and meditation are very important aspects of Buddhism. They are necessary, they are easy to practice, and it's a great way to get deeper into Buddhism. But once we understand that mindfulness works up to a certain point, we have to take that next step and then start being compassionate to other beings. Within the context of Jodo Shinshu, I think because there's these two aspects of inward and outward, the mindfulness will help us to see ourselves. When we reflect on ourselves and we see that we're imperfect beings, that we see that we're recipient of infinite compassion. So there's that one aspect of it that mindfulness will help us to realize that ourselves. But then there's the next step of after mindfulness, you get up and you do something. So Jodo Shinshu for me is active. The activity that we do is our practice. The life that we live is our practice. And what we do with our life, with our energy, whether it's for ourselves in a selfish way, which is necessary. We have to take care of ourselves, we take care of our family. But on the other side of it, we also need to make some kind of energy to benefit other beings, to help end the suffering of other beings. And that kind of practice will be the one that really allows us to end our suffering. That's when we really can learn about the true reality of the world and ourselves. So I hope everyone continues with their mindfulness practices, with their meditation practices, and also, on top of that, also take the next step to get up and actively try to think about other beings and their suffering and actively work to hopefully end it for them. And in doing so, you end up ending the suffering of yourself. If you please join me in Gassho. Nam-myo Amida Butsu. Nam-myo Amida Butsu. Nam-myo Amida Butsu. Nam-myo Butsu. Nam-myo Butsu. Nam-myo Butsu. Nam-myo Butsu. Okay, we'll close with the letter on white ashes. In silently contemplating the transient nature of human existence, nothing is more fragile and fleeting in this world than the life of man. Thus, we have not heard of human life lasting for 1,000 years. Life passes swiftly, and few among men can maintain their form for even 100 years. Whether I go before others or others go before me, whether it be today or tomorrow, who is to know? Those who depart before us are as countless as the drops of dew. Though in the morning we may have radiant health, in the evening we may return to white ashes. When the winds of impermanence blow, our eyes are closed forever, and when the last breath leaves us, our face loses its color. Though loved ones may gather and lament, everything is to no avail. The body is then sent into an open field and vanishes from this world with the smoke of cremation, leaving only the white ashes. Nothing is more real than this truth of life. The fragile nature of human existence underlies both the young and the old. Therefore we must, one and all, turn to the teachings of the Buddha Dharma and awaken to the essence of life. By so understanding the meaning of death, we come to appreciate the meaning of this life, which is to be treasured because it is unrepeatable. By virtue of true compassion, let us realize the unexcelled value of this existence, and let's live together with gratitude in our hearts. You please join me in Gassho. Nam-myo Amida Butsu. Nam-myo Amida Butsu. Nam-myo Amida Butsu. Nam-myo Butsu. Nam-myo Butsu. Nam-myo Butsu. Nam-myo Butsu. Thank you again, everyone, for watching. We'll hopefully see you tomorrow morning at 9:30. Bye.